Welcome to the Ozarks Sports Report podcast. For today's show, we're going to be talking about football districts as they kick off here in the Ozarks, along with a recap of the SWCL, college football, also talk the NHL, and we'll wrap this show up with the NFL. Starting off today's show with high school football with districts kicking off in the Ozarks, as we'll start off with 8-man football. The teams that are going to be participating in the 8-man football districts are Norbone, Northwest Hughesville, Sacred Heart, Chilhowie, Greenfield, and Osceola. Remember, the top seed will host in the district tournaments. On to Class 1, District 2, Pierce City, Pleasant Hope, Marionville, Ash Grove, Sarcoxy, Kabul, Thayer, and Miller are the participating schools in Class 1 District 2. On to Class 2 District 3, we have Adrian, Rich Hill, Archie, Liberal, Jasper, Cass Midway, Drexel, and Lockwood. The only two schools in the Ozarks in Class 1 District 3 are Jasper and Lockwood. On to Class 1 District 4, where Skyline, Tipton, Windsor, Lone Jack, Crest Ridge, Appleton City, and Lincoln are the participating schools in Class 1 District 4. On to Class 2 District 3 will be Houston, Stratford, Diamond, Ava, Willow Springs, Mountain Grove, Cuba, and Mountain View, Birch Tree, Liberty. On to Class 2 District 4, Lamar, California, Versailles, El Dorado Springs, Cole Camp, Warsaw, Stockton, and Fair Grove will be the participating schools in Class 2 District 4. And as I said, the top seed will be hosting in the districts here in football. On to Class 3 District 1, where it's going to be Salem, which is the only Ozark school in Class 3 District 1, along with Dexter, Central Park Hills, Central New Medford County, St. Genevieve, Potosi, Kennett, and Fredericktown in Class 3 District 1. On to Class 3 District 3, we have St. James, Sullivan, Owensville, Logan Rogersville, Eldon, Buffalo, Springfield Catholic, and Osage are the schools that are going to be competing in Class 3 District 3. On to Class 3 District 4, where it's going to be Mount Vernon, Aurora, East Newton, Seneca, Hollister, Cassville, Monette, and Reed Spring. Once again, the higher seed will be hosting in all the district games going on across southwest Missouri. On to Class 4 District 5, where it's going to be Hillcrest, Camdenton, Bolivar, West Plains, Marshfield, Webb City, McDonald County, and Carl Junction in Class 4 District 5. Moving on to the big Class 5 District 4, where it's going to be Waynesville, Ozark, Branson Central, Glendale, and Lebanon. They're going to be competing in Class 5 District 4. On to Class 5 District 5, where it will be Republic, Neosho, Willard, Parkview, Carthage, and Nixa. Moving on to Class 6 District 4 with only two of the Ozark schools in Class 6 District 4, where it's going to be Lee Summit West, Raymore Peculiar, Kansas City Rockhurst, Lee Summit North, Park Hill, Kickapoo, Joplin, and Lee Summit. The higher seed hosts, once again, in all classes 1 through 6 in all the districts football. Now we move on from the gridiron to the baseball diamond, as we're going to be talking about SWCL baseball. The SWCL baseball tournament happened around the beginning of October, where we saw teams of Billings, Sparta, Blue Eye, Galena, Clever, Crane, and Spokane, kicking off with the first game of the tournament between Billings and Sparta, where it was a high-scoring game between the Wildcats and the Trojans, thanks to traded hits in each inning of play, and also traded runs in each inning of play, which led to a thrilling 13-12 Billings victory over Sparta. I recently spoke with the head coach of the Billings Wildcats, Drew Cherry, talking about his thoughts of the game.
It was a crazy game. It kept our dugout up. We were all cheering. We were getting into the game, very into the game. Their dugout was up. You can just feel the field. It was very electrifying. So we battled and we stayed up. Got down a little bit, but whenever we got down, we'd battle back, get some runs up on the board, and we just kept fighting the entire game.
On now to Blue Eye and Galena. Galena took an early 2-1 lead until the Blue Eye bats of Ryan Reagan and Jacob Crothamel took control to advance to the semifinal game. Blue Eye defeated Galena 12-2. I recently spoke with both Jacob Crothamel, Ryan Reagan, and Dustin Avers, the head coach of the Blue Eye Bulldogs, on their thoughts and on their performance of the game between Blue Eye and Galena. On now.
Yeah, we came out. We threw our number 2. First inning, he does a good job for us, but we end up giving up 2 errors and a walk, and they find a way to scratch across 2 runs. Anytime Galena's got base runners on, they do a good job of manufacturing runs, but from then on out, Jacob Crothamel pitched well. Only had 2 walks, made them earn their way on, and he finished complete game, giving up no earned runs, and then we offensively, this has been one of our better games. We were able to put 7 hits up and put up 8 runs, so it was a good game for us.
Well, I knew that Coach said that we had to throw strikes, and that's what I did. And I know that the only way we can win a game is if we pitch well, and that's what I was told. And then I know that as a player and as a pitcher. So if we throw strikes and if we get them in there, then that's what's going to win a game.
It felt pretty good. I mean, I haven't been able to hit that well the whole season. I've been looking forward to it, and I needed it.
Out to Crane and Spokane, where revenge was in the Pirates' eyes as they explode to score 14 unanswered runs by the bats from Colton Elder, Harley Howard, and Brent Williams. Colby Smith was spectacular, throwing a complete game, allowing 1 run. Final score, Crane 14, Spokane 1. I got to sit down with the head coach of the Crane Pirates, Brian Harmon, along with Brent Williams and Colby Smith of the Crane Pirates, to get their thoughts and their performance of that game.
The big key was our intensity. We wanted to come out and make a statement early. We had a tough 3-2 loss to them a couple weeks ago, their only win of the season so up to this point. And we got runners all over the bases that day. We just didn't drive them in, and we were looking for the key hits, and I feel like we got that today. We all through our lineup, we put the bat on the ball, and I feel like it was a great team effort offensively.
Well, honestly, I think the key to the game was just to come out and dominate their hitters, because I knew their hitters were really young, and I knew they were inexperienced. So me coming in as a dominant, experienced pitcher, I just knew that I should just dominate automatically.
Just gonna attack the fastball because he threw it right down the middle every time. I was just looking for a first pitch fastball and just to hit it, get on base somehow.
On now to Clever and Billings as the Blue Jays run rule Billings to advance to the championship game. OSR was at the campus of College of the Ozarks where the second half of the SWCL tournament was played. We did not get any interviews from Clever or Billings. On now to Crane and Blue Eye, where a pitching duel between Vaught and Reagan ends in a walk-off sacrifice fly by Heath Quick to take the Pirates to the championship game against Clever. Now to Billings and Blue Eye, where a 10-run rule helps Blue Eye glide past Billings in the third place game. Now we move on to the championship game between Clever and Crane, where Clever's Hunter Utzler threw a complete game to help Clever glide to an 8-2 championship win over Crane. I got to sit down with the head coach of the Clever Blue Jays, Justin Snyder, and the player of the game for the SWCL championship game, Hunter Utzler, to pick up their thoughts and their reaction on today's game and talk about Hunter Utzler's performance in that game.
I feel like today we were probably more prepared than we were for most of the games. We video all of our games, and we did what happened a week ago, and the good things, the bad things, and the things that we could do better. And the kids just did a really good job of executing our game plan. We, even all the way down to charting pitches, what the pitcher was throwing and what counts. And, the kids did an excellent job, especially late in the game and middle innings, of just moving the ball hard, And you got 2 good pitchers like that, and Elders and Williams, and you've got to move the ball hard, and I was especially proud of them against Williams because he throws a little bit harder, and we've struggled with velocity a little bit this year. So kids did a great job of going the other way the whole night. We got big hits. That was one of the things we talked about last week when we were at Crane. We left, I think, 11, 12 guys in scoring position, and we got fortunate. We got out of there with a 3-1 win because we just didn't get guys in. Tonight we did a really good job of getting guys in, and Hunter's job on the mound, I think he had 10 Ks, and he did an excellent job, and he's been our workhorse the entire fall. Mm-hmm. Came into a tough spot because our number 1 pitcher going into the season went down, and Hunter came in and did a great job, and now we've got a really, really good 1-2 punch for the spring coming up, and 1A and 1B, and I hate to be a Debbie Downer as sometimes I'm called, but for my mind, we celebrate tonight, we celebrate maybe through the weekend, and then my thoughts go, what do we have to do to get better for the spring? Because competition's just better in the spring. You're playing bigger schools, you're playing football schools, and especially with our schedule and our district, our schedule's tough, and we've got a lot of areas that we've got to get better at. As good as we played this spring, 16-5 and 6-0 in the conference, and didn't lose a game in the tournament, and as good as we played this fall, we've got a lot of work we can do and get better, and we're still pretty young. We've only graduated, I think, two and a half starters out of our lineup right now. Started Cameron Garcia, and he came up with 2 huge hits today, and he has for the past couple games. We set him out of the lineup mid-season for a while, and all he was doing was pitching. It was kind of to reset his mind. He overthinks things so much, and and he came up with some big hits. We just had hits up and down the lineup tonight. From 1 through 9, it was awesome to see.
Just to really hit spots. Seemed like if I could command the fastball early in counts and then use my curveball to really put away the batters in the lineup, that I could really use that to my advantage tonight.
And college football, as Evangel looks to keep momentum when they go on the road to take on Mid-America Nazarene. The Crusaders aim to continue their hot streak when they travel to Olathe, Kansas to take on Mid-America Nazarene on Saturday. Kickoff is scheduled for 2 p.m. Central Time from Mid-America Nazarene in Olathe. We move on to the west side of the state, where Missouri Southern will host Central Oklahoma on Saturday. Missouri Southern Lions will face Central Oklahoma at home for the first time in 3 weeks. Game time will start at 3 p.m. Central Time from Fred G. Hughes Stadium at the Robert W. Plaster Sports Complex in Joplin. Moving back to Springfield, where the Bears will return home to take on South Dakota State. Kickoff is scheduled for 2 o'clock p.m. from Plaster Stadium in Springfield between the Missouri State Bears and the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. We move up to Columbia, where Mizzou will return home to take on Idaho. Kickoff is scheduled for 11 a.m. from Farrow Field in Columbia between the Mizzou Tigers and the University of Idaho. We move on now to the Natural State, where Arkansas will return home after a tough loss to Alabama to take on Auburn. Kickoff is scheduled for 6:30 p.m. from Donald W. Reynolds Stadium in Fayetteville between the Arkansas Razorbacks and the Auburn Tigers. We move on from the gridiron now to the ice, where we talk about the National Hockey League between the Blues and the Blackhawks, as Jaden Schwartz has a hat trick as the Blues defeat the Blackhawks 5-2. Jaden Schwartz missed the final 7 minutes of the first period after taking a big hit and going headfirst into the boards. He shook it off in a big win, going headfirst for the St. Louis Blues. Back for the start of the second period, Schwartz ended up with his third career hat trick. Schwartz had 4 goals and 6 assists this season. Vladimir Tarasenko had a goal and an assist. Kyle Brodziak also scored, and Jake Allen made 22 saves, including a dazzling stick save on Patrick Kane. The final score, the Blues 5, Blackhawks 2. The Blackhawks fall to 4-2-1. While the Note improves to 6-2-0. The Blues will go on the road to take on the Avalanche on Thursday at 6 o'clock, while the Blackhawks go back home to face the Oilers on Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Now on to NFL action, as the Chiefs are going to be on the road to face the Oakland Raiders on Thursday Night Football. Kickoff is scheduled for 7 o'clock p.m. from Oakland Alameda County Coliseum in Oakland, where the Chiefs will try and get back on a win streak after losing to Pittsburgh last week. That's going to wrap up our show for today. We hope you enjoyed this show. And if you want to stay connected with us on social media, be sure to like us on Facebook. That's facebook.com/Ozarks Sports Report. Also follow us on Twitter at OZRKS, Ozarks, SPRTS, Sports, REPRT, Report. And if you want to stay tuned to our podcasts on our YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is called Ozarks Sports Report. And visit our website at www.ozarksportsreport.wixsite.com/Ozark Sports Report. We want you to stay tuned for the next show, where we'll find out if any top teams in high school district football went down. Will the Blues keep on their winning ways? Will the Chiefs get back on a win streak? And we'll also talk about a preview for high school basketball, which that will be starting later in November. So we want to say thank you for tuning into this week's show, and we will see you guys in the next show. Have a good day, everybody.